pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We, as usual, take your calls and answer your question with the grace of Allah, with the support of Allah, to those questions that we have answers for. And those that we do not know, we usually ask you to send us an email. We will do our necessary research for these questions and then send it back to you, insha'Allah Azza wa Jal. And until we get some of your phone calls, and the numbers, you will see them displayed in front of you under the screen, insha'Allah, we have a few emails that, insha'Allah, we would like to go and discuss these questions as they came. The first question is it permissible to make dua in your mother tongue while you are in prostration if you do not know the Arabic language? It's an issue of dispute among scholars, but the most authentic opinion is that you are allowed to make dua in your own native language, providing you do not know how to do this in Arabic. And this is after you have offered the necessary and mandatory dhikr. So in your prostration, it is mandatory for you, it is wajib to say Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. And if you add to that, then this is okay. Subhana Rabbi al-A'la wa bihamdih. And the other forms of supplications as well. Now, if you do this, saying it in Arabic, which is a must, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, after that, if you want to ask Allah for something, but you do not know how to ask it in Arabic, then in this case, you may ask it in your native language. But if you know how to ask it in Arabic, it's a must. So for example, if you want to ask Allah for forgiveness, and you say, Allahumma ghfirli, and you know Allahumma ghfirli, you cannot say, oh Allah, forgive me, because you know it in Arabic. But if you want to ask Allah Azza wa Jal to guide your son to the straight path, or to award your wife hidayah, or to pay off your debts, and you can't say this in Arabic because you simply don't know Arabic, in this case it becomes permissible, insha'Allah. The second question, it states, my uncle passed away recently and I wanted to know if this is from the Quran and Sunnah, where his wife must not come outside for 4 months and 10 days without legitimate reason. The answer to that is, yes, this is part of what Allah instructed us in the Quran, where He told us, Azza wa Jal, that women who their husbands pass away, they must stay the period of iddah, providing they're not pregnant, of course. So if they're not pregnant, their iddah, their waiting period, is 4 months and 10 days. And they are supposed to stay in their houses. They're not allowed to go out of the house unless there is a necessity, such as going to the court to finish some paperwork regarding inheritance, going to work if she is a teacher, for example, and they don't give her time out. They don't give her leave for the calamity that struck her. In this case, she can go to work, but she has to go back. She must not go to a coffee shop on her way back and enjoy herself. No, she has to go back as soon as what's necessary is over, that is work. She's allowed to go to hospital to get medical treatment. Anything that is necessary and has to be done, she can do it. But to go to visit someone who's ill, to go to offer umrah, to go for hajj, this is not permissible. To go and to give condolences to someone who had passed as well away, this is not permissible. She has to be refrained. She has to stay in her house. She must not put any makeup, any perfume, beautifying herself. She must not wear fancy clothes or clothes that would usually be worn to tempt men to look at her. This is not permissible as well. She should not wear any perfume. She can bathe, she can use soap, shampoos, etc., because these are normal things, but she must not wear cologne in her house. And there are a number of different issues regarding to the topic of iddah as well. We have Suraida from Saudi. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sheikh. Thank you so much for the great job.
Jazakallah khair.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Okay.
First is that we are going for Umrah, I and my husband, tomorrow.
Inshallah.
And I would like to know, is it mandatory for him to shave off his hair after the Safa Marwa?
Okay.
And the other question is, could you please give us an outline of Umrah, just a brief one, a guideline?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Exactly. Regarding the first question, that is it mandatory for a man after concluding his Umrah to shave off his head? And the answer is no, it's not mandatory. He has the option either to shave it, and this is the best, because the Prophet ﷺ prayed to Allah 3 times to have mercy on those who shave their heads, and every time the companion said, and what about those who cut short their hair? And he would say, may Allah have mercy on those who shave their heads. What about those who cut short their hair? May Allah have mercy on those who shave their heads. And in the 4th time he said, may Allah have mercy on those who cut short their hair. So it's a lower level, though it's accepted, it's part of the sunnah, but it is lesser in reward. So if he offers his umrah after concluding the sa'i between Safa and Marwa, he must cut short from his entire head, not only as people do from one side. This is wrong. It should be from the entire hair, cutting short from all of the hair as much as possible. The length is irrelevant, but it has to be generalized. As for the description of Umrah, it may take a while, but it is simply making ihram. This is one of the pillars of Umrah. And making tawaf, and making sa'i, and then shortening your hair or shaving it for men in general. Now, if you want to go to details, it is preferable and recommended for you to have a ghusl. Okay, we have Sister Noha from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum. Please, Sister Noha, turn down the volume of your TV set and listen to me from the phone. Well, I think Sister Noha is not with us anymore. So after you offer your total bath, which is voluntary, meaning that if you don't do it, your Umrah is still accepted, your Ihram is still accepted. After that, after you have washed, you wear your Ihram, and if it is a time of prayer such as Asr, Dhuhr, Maghrib, or if you did not pray the Sunnah of Dhuhr afterwards, then it is recommended that you make your intention of Ihram after you pray these 2 rak'ahs. But if you don't have any prayer to pray, then there isn't any specific prayer for Ihram. So don't pray anything. Just make your Ihram by saying Labbaik Allahumma Umrah. Verbally saying it is not an intention. I'm saying it now, Labbaik Allahumma Umrah. Does this mean I'm in the state of Ihram? Definitely not. Because this is talbiyah. The intention is in the heart. So the minute I'm out wearing my Ihram, and I have the firm intention that I am in the state of Ihram. So if someone says, put some perfume, and I said, no, I've already made my intention. I am in the state of Ihram. If someone says, what about clipping your nails? I said, I can't. This is the intention. Once you enter this intention, the state of Ihram, you cannot leave it until you finish your ritual, until you finish your Umrah or your Hajj. Some people say, can we make a condition saying that فَإِنْ حَبَسَنِي حَابِسْ فَمَحِلِّي حَيْثُ حَبَسْتَنِي? So Allah, if I was prevented from offering my ihram, from completing my umrah, then I have the right to take it off and go back to my previous state. Is this permissible? Yes, this is permissible, providing that you have something to fear. For example, if you are ill, if you're sick, if you have an injury, knee injury for example, and you have a very strong feeling that if you start tawaf, it may come up again, it may agonize you, and it may hurt you. Your car might not be 100% in a good condition, so you know that it might break down on the way. So you go and you make the intention. You say, لبيك اللهم عمرة وإن حبسني حابس. If something was to prevent me from completing my umrah, then I can take off my ihram and wear my normal clothes. But if you don't have anything to fear, it is not permissible for you. If you're healthy, your car is good, you have nothing to fear, and you still make this condition, this is invalid and this is not permissible. Brother Muhammad from Saudi, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair. What can I do for
You
you?
have a wonderful job there.
Allah yajzik al khair.
So I have two questions.
Yes, brother.
Is there any problem if the water of ablution goes to the bathroom or the closet?
Okay.
Then second question is that if it's proven from the Sunnah that if we keep the Quran open for a long time without reading it, does the Satan urinate it? Some people say that like this.
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah,
Okay, Jazakallah khair, brother. Regarding Brother Muhammad, he's asking about the water of ablution. And it's a misconception among a lot of the Muslims, not in normal ablution water, because there's nothing wrong in that. If you perform ablution and the water goes down the sink, down the drains, it's okay. It's a wasted water, so there's nothing wrong in it. A lot of the Muslims ask about a similar question, and they say, is it possible to make wudu or ghusl with Zamzam water? And the answer is yes. They say, Sheikh, Zamzam water will go down the drains. I said, with the sewer. Okay, there's no problem in that. And even more, is it permissible to bring Zamzam water and recite the Quran for medication or for ruqyah and then wash ourselves with it in the toilet? The answer is yes. There's nothing wrong in that. You are not humiliating the Quran. The Quran is the book we have. But once you've recited it on Zamzam water and it goes down the drain, there is nothing wrong in that, inshallah. The second question, he says that some of the people may leave the Quran open for a while. And some folks would come up and say, close it, because if you keep it open for too long, Satan may come and read it. Is this logical? Would he read it for the sake of Allah and then maybe pray 2 rak'ahs and ask for forgiveness? He is doomed in hell. He is not going to ask Allah for forgiveness until the day of judgment. He is adamant. He will not repent. So, do you think he needs you to open the Quran for you so that he could read it? He is part of the jinn. He can do whatever he is capable of doing by the will of Allah Azza wa Jal, penetrating walls, going through doors, knowing things that normal people don't know. So this is a misconception. It has nothing to do with the jinn or with the Satans reading it. If the jinn are able to read it and they may be guided, so be it. Let them read it. Maybe Allah would guide them and you would be the cause of that. But Satan coming and reciting it, this is preposterous and it is baseless. It has no authenticity to it. After you make your intention for Umrah, you go to Mecca. And the first thing you do once you reach Mecca, okay, Sister Falusi, I think, from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Oh, then this is a brother. Jazakallah khair. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you doing?
I am fine, Jazakallah khair. I'd appreciate it if you speak a little bit louder.
Okay. Please, I want to ask a question about the city Isra.
About?
The city Isra.
I could not understand this.
I mean, I want to ask about Jalsatul Isra, that
Jalsatu.
because now I think the Prophet had done it during his Salat.
Okay, Jalsatul Istiraha, okay.
Yeah, I just want to find out, is it permissible and when do we observe it during Salat?
Okay, I'll answer that, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. The brother is asking about what is known as Jalsatul Istiraha. It is a short pause where you sit down when you are standing up for the second or the fourth rak'ah. So if I pray one rak'ah, complete rak'ah, I offer two prostration. Before standing up to the second rak'ah, I sit down in a very short pause, and then I stand up for my second rak'ah, and likewise when I am standing up for the fourth rak'ah. So he's asking, what is the ruling on it? Scholars have different opinion, but as usual, when we have different opinions of scholars, we go back to square one. We go back to the Quran and to the Sunnah. Because when scholars differ, this is not an excuse for me to go and pick whatever suits me best. I'm not entering a supermarket and taking off from the shelf whatever I wish. I am choosing a proper fatwa. So whenever they differ, and they differ a lot, we are instructed, we are mandated to go to the Quran and to the Sunnah to cross-examine evidences so that we can know which one is correct. So what is the ruling on Jalsat al-Istiraha? Inshallah, this is what we will discuss after the break, so stay tuned.
Ask Huda.
Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to a new edition of Ask Huda.
I have two questions.
Please go ahead. You can read it in Arabic, and you can also understand the meaning in your own language. The different tafsir and the interpretation of the meanings of the Quran are available in almost every language that exists on earth by the grace of Allah. The water of Zamzam is for whatever intention you drink it with. Salih from Egypt, his father has the way, and he asked about how can he help him. Very good question.
Can we give a zakat to any of the dawah centers?
The ibadah, or the act of worship, is a part of the unity of worship. It has to be paid to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in accordance with the guidance of his Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome back. Before we answer the brother's question from Nigeria, I believe that we have Sister Siba or Saba from Canada. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, how are you?
I'm fine, Sister. Jazakallah khair. What can I do for you? Well, I believe that the sister's call was interrupted. I hope, inshallah, that she'll be able to call us back again. The brother asking about Jalsat al-Istiraha, this short pause, is it part of the Sunnah? Well, if you go back to Sahih al-Bukhari, in the book, in the chapter dealing with Salat, you'll find that there is a companion of the Prophet ﷺ's name, Malik ibn al-Huwayrith, if I remember correctly. And he came once to the companions and said, I'll pray to you the prayer of the Prophet ﷺ. And he prayed these 4 rak'ahs. And the person narrating the hadith said that every time he stood up for the second rak'ah or the 4th rak'ah, he used to sit for a short pause and then stand up again. So this is a companion, and he offered this prayer in front of other companions of the Prophet ﷺ, and none of them stood up and said, hey, this is wrong. I've seen the Prophet and he did not pray like this, ﷺ. None of them did this. And the hadith is graded as the highest level of authenticity. It's in Sahih al-Bukhari. And this is why Imam al-Shafi'i, may Allah have mercy on his soul, say that this is part of the Sunnah. And that is why it's part of his school of thought. And a number of scholars say that this is part of the sunnah, such as Sheikh Nasruddin al-Albani and other great scholars of Islam. So if you do it, alhamdulillah. If you don't do it, it remains a sunnah. Your prayer is valid and there is nothing wrong with that, inshallah. I believe that the sister is back with us again. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, Sheikh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. I have question number one is I heard Sheikh Salim Avi saying in one of his lectures that basically what you should do is when you're leaving your house in the morning, you should pray 2 rakats so that the whole day you're protected from evil and everything. Now my question is, my husband leaves at 6 o'clock in the morning for his work, and the Fajr is at 4:30, so he prays like around 5 in the morning, and the sun has not risen yet. So should he pray these 2 rakats before the Salah, or should he pray this, how should he go about doing it? That's my first question.
Okay, before you go to the second question, now, someone told you that these 2 rak'ahs, if you pray them in the day, Allah will protect you from all evil acts, right?
Yes, we especially pray that Allah please protect me from all the evils and the bad things or bad people, situation, everything.
Okay, your second question, please.
Okay, my second question is, mashallah, my children are alhamdulillah following the hijab, they're doing their salah, but they do not have the passion for deen, which I feel that I have, but they are not that enthusiastic. And you know, that leads like a domino effect, is because I get angry at them for not, doing exactly, they're just following it as a routine. And I want them to be passionate about it. What should I do, Sheikh? Please guide me there.
Okay.
Because I get very angry and then, it loses the purpose because now I am angry.
For doing things that are not related to Islam or for not following the Sunnah?
No, they are following, mashallah, the Sunnah and the Hadith. But the problem is they are more passionate about the worldly things like, watching TV, cartoons and stuff like that. But I tell them that they watch a little bit and, but they're not as enthusiastic as watching Islamic cartoons, which I have recorded for them, or Islamic movies, or learning Arabic. They're not very much passionate as I want them to be.
How old are they?
My elder daughter is 11 years old and my younger daughter is 8 years old.
Okay, I'll answer this inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah, Assalamu alaikum, hayyakallah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa hayyakillah. Regarding the first question, and that is, there are 2 rak'ahs that if a person prays, Allah would protect him from all evil. There isn't anything as such. What we know, that there are 2 rak'ahs that are known as duha prayer. And duha prayer, whoever prays this, Allah Azza wa Jal would exempt him and would consider for him that he had done the mandatory sadaqah that he should pay for every bone in or joint in his body. In the hadith, the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, every single day that you wake up, there is 360 joints in your body that require sadaqah. And the Prophet mentioned a number of sadaqahs, of charities that you should do in order to get this obligatory things paid off or out away from your back. At the end, the Prophet said, alayhi, and if you pray 2 rak'ahs of duha, this does the job. So these 2 rak'ahs are known as the rak'ah, the prayer of al-awwabin, those who go to Allah Azza wa Jal in repentance and go back to Allah Azza wa Jal. They are very good rak'ahs and they are very highly recommended, and we should do this. The Prophet ﷺ did it as narrated in the hadith of Hani, may Allah be pleased with her, in Fath Makkah, though there is an issue of dispute among scholars whether this is Salatul Fathi, the conquest prayer, or the Duha prayer. Either way, it is recommended by the Prophet ﷺ. As for the second question, she is asking about her children, 11 and 8 girls. They are, mashallah, abiding by the hijab. They're doing what they must do. They recite the Quran. They do their learning, but they keep it to the basic. And they want to indulge themselves in worldly matters, in listening to maybe music, watching TV, instead of learning Arabic and doing this, and she's frustrated and she's always angry with them. Well, this is a very critical phase of their lives. You have to be very careful. Children at this age, they are changing lanes, as they say. So they're young, they're restless, they don't know what's good for them. If it were for them, they would eat junk food 24/7. Even if it kills them, they couldn't care. It tastes good, it looks nice, the advertisement is overwhelming, and it is so attractive. They don't know what's good for them. Therefore, you being the doctor, being the one who is bringing them up, inshallah, on an Islamic way, you should be more tolerant. You're at the moment like a dentist. When a patient comes and he opens his mouth and you try to touch the tooth and he screams, instead of being tolerant, you punch him in the nose for screaming. Nobody would come to you. Nobody would accept you. Now, your children have so many people outside anticipating and waiting for the right moment to jump and take over, not physically but mentally, to try and make them come to them. So you will lose because there's so many of them and you're only on your own. That is why there has to be some form of tolerance, not in haram, but you have to tolerate things. You have to give them a lot of love, and you have to try as much as possible to reduce your anger, to reduce your critique. Not every time they do something, why did you do this? You should have done this. No, always give them positive talk, encourage them. You be the role model for them, and inshallah, things would progress in a positive way. And always remember, love brings remarkable results. Sister, I think Sumaya from Saudi. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam to Allah.
This is Zubair.
Zubair, okay, I apologize.
Yes. Yeah, now there are two questions.
Okay.
The first one is with regards to the duties of a doctor.
Can you please turn down the volume of your TV set?
Yeah, I don't have, it's off, Sheikh.
Okay, like someone else is talking at the same time. Yes, first question.
So like, what are the duties of a daughter-in-law towards her in-laws? Are they equal to what her parents' rights on her? Are they the same? Her in-laws and her parents. Okay?
Okay.
And like, is the mother-in-law, like, allowed to command her to do work and...
Okay, second question.
Okay, and the second one is with regards to like moving the finger in Salah, like during tashahhud.
Come again?
During tashahhud in Salah.
Yes.
Yeah, about like moving the finger.
Okay.
Yeah, is it like, do we move the finger towards till the end, till taslim?
Okay.
Or is it like, just when we say the kalima?
Okay, I'll answer that inshallah.
Okay, jazakallah khair.
Okay. Regarding Zubair's questions, the first one, what are the duties of the woman towards her father-in-law and mother-in-law? And we often get this question from the sisters, especially from the subcontinent, from Pakistan, from India, from Bangladesh, and all the adjacent countries, or those even who had migrated to Europe or the States or Canada, but still have the culture within. So they often ask about the ruling, because it's kind of the customs there that once I get married, my wife becomes the servant of the house. She takes care of the house that is usually inhabited by my parents, sometimes by my brothers, and anyone in the family with me. So what is the ruling on the woman serving her in-laws? Is it mandatory? And the answer is no. And no one can force you to serve them. No one can make you do things that are not mandated by Islam. Isn't this Sheikh obeying my husband in what is known to be bil ma'roof, in something that is considered to be something that is beneficial and good? It is beneficial, it is good, but it is not mandatory. I was not married to become a servant in your house. Now, if you're kind to me as a husband and you give me sweet talk and you compensate me, she might do this. But to force her and to threaten her that you divorce her if she doesn't do this, no, this is not your right. A wife's right is so great to the extent that you in Islam are forced to give her a separate house of her own. Not necessarily a villa, but a place where she can stay without any interference, a room of privacy, a bedroom with a bathroom, and a kitchen, a separate kitchen for her. This can be part of the house, it's okay, but this is her quarters. You don't have the right to force her to live with her in-laws, to see your sisters every morning and the evening, and they coming into her room, taking some of her jewelry, saying bad things, giving remarks that she may not tolerate. So this is her right. Now, if she does this because she's a good person and she loves you, then you should be appreciative